Are alien abductions for real? The short answer is, I hope not. But unfortunately, the subject is a bit more complex than what can be explained with a short answer. In this video, we'll take an unbiased look at the background and at the most interesting cases. However, this is an abbreviated presentation. You could easily make a separate video for each case with pros and cons. How would I react if aliens suddenly appeared at my place? Well, if aliens look like this, the answer would be, oh, hello. If they look like this, are you sure you want something from me? But without the book Abduction, Human Encounters with Aliens by the American psychiatrist, writer and professor John Edward Mack, 1929 to 2004, probably I would have never cared about this. And John E. Mack had his professorship not anywhere, but he was head of the Department of Psychiatry at Harvard Medical School, and he was anything but gullible or immediately convinced. He said, when I first heard about this phenomenon in 1990, I was very doubtful. I thought it must be some kind of mental illness. Furthermore, not only was he a world-renowned expert in his field, but he also received the 1977 Pulitzer Prize for a publication about Lawrence of Arabia. In addition, he was an active member of the International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War (IPPNW) organization, which received the 1985 Nobel Peace Prize. Therefore, in his case, we can rule out he was craving for recognition, especially since he's received more anger than recognition from many of his colleagues for his work on this particular phenomenon. But it was only because he was seriously concerned about this subject that the academic world took any notice of these cases. After that, a major scientific conference on this topic was held in June 1992 at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, under the direction of Professor David E. Pritchard. In the course of this, among other things, this book was published. So, unfortunately, the responsible beings do not seem to be of the sexy type. Now, let's look at some cases. 1. The Betty and Barney Hill case. One of the first cases in modern times seems to be this case, since the alleged alien abduction occurred in September 1961. But it still took until 1966 with the book The Interrupted Journey and with the 1975 television movie The UFO Incident that the events were widely covered by the media. What had happened? During a night drive through New Hampshire, the Hills had an encounter with a bright flying object, without initially remembering anything else. It was not until days later that psychological consequences such as nightmares began to appear, and a few months later they sought professional help, which was initially fruitless. Only when at the end of 1963 the psychiatrist Benjamin Simon questioned the two under hypnosis, which in itself is problematic, that the encounter with the aliens and the painful abduction came to light. However, the account of events was not consistent, and Barney had divergent memories than Betty. 2. Travis Walton. Travis Walton claims to have encountered a UFO and been abducted by aliens in November 1975 while working in a national forest in Arizona. This case is special because his co-workers claim to have witnessed the abduction. Since at first Walton was missing and no one believed his co-workers about the UFO, they were investigated for possible murder until Watson reappeared 5 days later. He was recently with Joe Rogan and spoke at length about his experience. You can find excerpts of it on YouTube, but the whole podcast is only available for free on Spotify. 3. The American writer Withley Strieber. Okay, it seems suspicious that this best-selling author of horror stories claims to have been abducted by aliens, because he certainly does not lack imagination. However, Strieber insists he was abducted in December 1985 by non-human beings. He wrote about this experience in the book Communion, A True Story, 1987, which was later filmed with actor Christopher Walken playing Strieber. 4. Nobel Prize winner Kary Mullis. Kary Mullis was an American biochemist. He received the 1993 Nobel Prize in Chemistry together with Michael Smith for the development of the polymerase chain reaction PCR technique. During his lifetime, he made more than one controversial statement that caused his colleagues to shake their heads. So the claim of his having encounters with extraterrestrials was not even the most curious one. 5. The case of the Russian politician Kirsan Ilyumzhinov. Most abduction cases have been reported in the US, where there is a very different public awareness of this issue than in Europe. But of course there are numerous cases in other regions as well. Not so often, however. This is claimed by politicians. But the former president of the Republic of Kalmykia in the Russian Federation, and by that time president of the International Chess Federation FIDE, claims that in September 1997 he was taken from his home by aliens in yellow spacesuits and traveled in their spaceship. For some of these cases there might be a more earthly explanation, like hallucinations or sleep paralysis. But whether all cases can be explained with it, what's your opinion? Write them down in the comments. If you like this video, check out our other mystery videos.